to Whitehead around the net. 7 goals this season back from injury. Goes to the line. Berge, a shot deflected. Score! And we're off and running. His second as a Regina Pat. Logan Peskett deflects this one into the back of the net. Here's Barnett over the attacking line. Centers it in front. Backhander by Vaughn goes over the net. Rebound. Stopped by Ernst. He scores! And it's Jackson Vaughn. Goals in 2 straight for Vaughn. Rebound Aremba. Stopped by Ernst as well. Spencer shoots. Scores! Bouncing puck in the slot. Spencer settles it down and just shoves that one into the top corner. Ty Spencer scores against his former team. Here's a Ginla driving over the Regina line. Stops with the right forwards. Into the slot of Ginla. Centered in front. Crystal backhander. Great save by Huey. He robs Andrew Crystal. Tanner Howe chips the puck forward. And now Vallis over the line at the right side. Slap shot. Score! Boria Vallis takes a Howard serve from the right circle that goes off kicking in, and it just trickles over the line. Whitehead down low to Aremba at the right wing side. Berg at the midpoint. Waiting. Wrist shot. Score! And here come the Hats onto the ice inside the Brand Center. First career hat trick for Parker Berg.
Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. It's December 10th, it's episode 155. It's Chris here, Kevin there. How we do tonight, Kev?
It had the potential of being 2 wins. That would have been really nice. The 1 win was nice. Second game against Kelowna wasn't the greatest. Some issues are definitely being very prominent lately.
Yeah, they're getting exposed in some areas. It was, like we said, it was 2 winnable games, and unfortunately, they were only able to manage a 1, and made the Kelowna game tight at the end. But it was a little too late, a little bit too much of a hole to get out of. So it was a little disappointing, right? Like,
and the Kamloops game was closer than it should have been too.
Yes, that as well. Yeah,
but. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyways, before we get into the show, I just want to say, if you're listening, thanks for listening. And if you like what we're doing, tell a friend. I mean, the team isn't doing the greatest, so, the numbers are kind of down a bit over the last few weeks, but whatever. We're still going to roll with it. So, and if you've got any suggestions, good, bad, or otherwise, let us know. We're adults. We can take any criticism if you don't like what we're doing, but... yeah,
are you sure about that?
I don't know. Whatever. If you don't really like us, just don't listen, I guess.
Yeah. Well, don't say that. Who cares if you don't like us? Listen to us anyways.
There you go. Yeah.
Might get some bulletin board material from us, even though we have no inside information.
Yeah. No. So, but no. Yeah. Share us around. Help us grow the show a bit. We're still going to be here. So, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, it was a tough week, I think. Like, obviously, I think the key issue, is the goaltending hasn't been very steady at all, right? Like,
yeah.
It's been kind of up and down this year, and both guys kind of had a bit of a rough start to the season, and then they kind of got on a roll there where they finally got into that groove of going back and forth game to game, and then you kind of pointed out, once Huey kind of got, a little bit of a run there, it kind of went downhill a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like the added responsibility kind of took over. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's just he hasn't been as great as he had been. Still makes some unbelievable saves, but he lets in some goals I'm sure he wants back. And
yeah,
from listening to Brad's comments over the last 2 or 3 starts, I'm sure he wants some back. I know Brad wants some of those goals back too. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, there's some good saves. There's the one
unbelievable saves.
Crystal early in the game on Saturday, like that was an unreal save, the pad save. But then, like, what was it? The second goal, it just goes through him from the tight angle, like. That's one that just it can't go in.
Yeah,
you can't let that one in, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, well, let's go back to this Kamloops game. at least they didn't take them for granted. I don't want to say that they did that with Edmonton when Edmonton rolled in, but it kind of seemed that way. Edmonton
And
totally
when we rolled into Edmonton,
yeah, both those games kind of like, it was ugly, right? So you could tell that they were ready to play Kamloops, even though they have 7 wins, 2 on the road, I think it is, right? So
something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first, before you even get into that game, Whitehead's back. So there you go. You get a boost to the lineup, right?
Yay. It was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome
good to see him back. Yeah, he started on the 4th line, but, ease him into the game, and then he got more minutes as the game wore on. And he's out there right at the end with the 1-goal lead, right?
Yeah. And he got an assist in his first game back, first goal. So
yeah, on the first goal, yeah, with Peskett on the quote unquote 4th line there.
The whatever line.
Yeah, whatever number you want to call it, I don't know. Yeah, like it was again a back and forth game, kind of like the Kelowna game, but the Pats weren't chasing the game like they were in Kelowna, like they were behind and they had to catch up. Kamloops, they took the lead. Sure, they gave up the 2-goal lead, but then they scored 3 in a row, right? So
yeah,
it was kind of just opposite of the Kelowna game where they were chasing all night. But
yeah.
like you said, Peskett scores, Vaughn, Spencer, Barnett, guys that don't score a lot, getting in the action, guys that we are looking to score more, right? And
that need to score. The 19s, the older guys need to score, and they scored against the Kamloops Blazers. So
yeah, 3 guys that we picked to score this weekend scored in that game. So
Wilson got an assist.
Wilson got an assist, yeah. But I mean, that's good to see, right? And yeah, Pine, wasn't the best, but I mean, he did enough to get the win, to get the Pats the win. Yeah,
it's nice to see Vallis get going as well. It's good to see him. He seemed to be kind of tailing off with his numbers or whatever. Now he's connecting a little bit here and there.
Yeah, like we say, you see the skill there he's got. He just hasn't been able to finish as much as I think he'd like, or anybody would like, right?
Yeah. Well, he's had 7 points in his last 5 games, which is good after
it's coming around, right?
Having a little bit of a slump fest there for a bit. So
yeah, and he scored in Kelowna as well, against Kelowna. Yeah. I mean, and so yeah. Berge 3 assists, so like from the back end,
workhorse.
Yeah, man, guys all over, right? The power play getting a goal. Nice to see. Like they got one the previous game as well, I believe it was. The Swift Current game, I think they got one that game. 1 versus Kamloops, 1 versus Kelowna. So it's starting to kind of get back on track. You don't. I mean, you can't expect more than 1 power play goal a game, right? Like they only had 4, 2, and 4. So you had 10 chances. So 3 on 10. Like that's not
good.
bad.
That's a good number.
In these last 3 games.
30%?
Yeah.
30% is a good number.
Yeah. So you hope for 1, and anything I think over 1 is a bonus unless you're getting like 10 chances, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't the prettiest game, but they hang on to win, right? Like nothing too fancy. It's just
a very important win too.
Yeah.
All the wins now are important because they're starting to get a little bit down, getting out of the 8th spot. They're 5 points out of 8th, so.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned that last week. There's a little bit of a divide there starting to happen. Pats are starting to fall behind out of the playoff picture a bit. Red Deer, they're sitting in 8th, and the Pats are going to play them here on the road trip. But you look at Red Deer's past 10; they're 7-3, and the Pats are 3-7. Right?
Yep.
Like that's not good. The bottom 3 teams have 3, 2, and 3 wins in their past 10, and everybody else is 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in 10.
Yeah.
So it's starting to be a big of a gap there. Yeah. So
especially when they play the next 5 games on the road.
Yeah, I mean you're playing, and two of these games upcoming next, Friday and Saturday's games, are the teams right ahead of you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're must wins, but they're important games, right?
They're getting to be must wins if they want to contend for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they can't fall back further, right?
Yeah.
All right, then I guess we'll listen to some comments from Brad and who did I interview on Friday? It was just me, as usual. Spencer. It was Ty Spencer. That's what it was. I had to think about that.
Yeah,
But
he played against his former team.
yeah, so we'll listen to them.
It seemed like it was a bit of a feeling out process there in the first period, kind of opened up in the second. What did you kind of think of that start to the game?
Yeah, I liked the way we started the game. I thought we started to play back to our identity, started playing at that speed, started having some rhythm in our lines, rolling them all over. I like that. I know that we didn't score in the first period, but I like the way that we're playing back to our identity.
A little tight in the third period, though, but they were able to hang on. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that we were playing hard. They scored a couple of tricklers, but that's the way it's going to go. I like that we were mature about it. No one got down. No one started to panic. We stuck in our structure there at the end. A couple pucks that needed to get out didn't get out, but I like the way our bench handled it when they started to make a push.
Power play gets another one tonight. It kind of seems like it's starting to come along now.
Yeah, I think it just was a meat and potatoes goal to get the puck at the net. We had a high tip there by Valley. It was nothing special of a play, but a lot of times with PP it needs to be doesn't need to be very complicated. It just needs to be simple plays, get the puck towards the net, and that's how we scored it.
How big of a boost was it to get Braxton back in the lineup tonight?
Oh, it's huge. What he does for our lineups, what he does for our lineup, how he can help younger guys get acclimated to the league. He can basically carry a whole line by himself. He's so intelligent out there, knows his position. He's essentially a third coach on the ice all the time for us. And I just can't wait till he gets back up to speed.
Yeah, he kind of started off on the fourth line, but it seemed like he kind of moved up a bit and got more ice on his game.
Yeah, he started in the fourth line. I think he did a real good job with that line tonight. I thought Cole Temple was real good. Logan Peskett was real good. I know we kind of lost him a little bit in the third period with the penalties and how the game kind of got tight, but I really like that whole line. And then obviously with Whitey, when the game's on the line, he's one of the biggest guys I can trust, no matter if has been out for 8 weeks. I know his brain's going to be thinking, and that's what we need in those situations.
Yeah, Ty Spencer's another one tonight. He's kind of starting to get in a rhythm here.
Yeah, Ty Spencer's getting back to what he was last year. I know last year when we kind of had a rough month in December, we lost Connor, but the big thing happened when we lost Ty Spence. He was playing at such a high level last year before he got the high ankle sprain, and we just had to remind him where he was at, and he hasn't given us that. He has not given us that yet this year, and that today was just his ability and what he can play at when he's inspired, when he's motivated. That's the small man game that he can play, and he's a difference maker when he plays that way for us.
Yeah, it almost seemed like maybe he had a little extra energy there playing Kamloops.
Well, yeah, hopefully we play Kamloops all the time, because I seen that guy play like that last year. He was buzzing everywhere. That second line of him, Sam, and Suzilev, that changed our whole team last year. And Spenny he's an important piece to our team, and we need him at that level consistently.
Another home game for them to win. What is it with this team at home ice?
Yeah, we've been playing awesome. Being at home in front of the fans, we've been playing really well.
Your game tonight had another goal. It seems like it's coming along for you now.
Yeah, it took a little bit there. Had a little slump, but it's nice to see that I'm kind of finally having success putting the puck in the net.
Was there a little extra energy playing Kamloops tonight?
Yeah. That's you only play them once every year, so it's pretty special playing against your former team and seeing the guys that you were drafted with, and it's nice.
Maybe there's a little bit of a feeling process in the first period. You guys haven't played each other obviously this year, and then it kind of opened up in the second. What do you think of the game tonight?
Yeah, well, we knew what they were going to bring. Doing video on them, they're a good team, but just sticking to how we play is most important. It doesn't matter what team we're playing, whether we play them once a year or we play them more. As long as we're doing what we need to do, and I thought we had a really good game today.
Yeah, Coach just said that when you went out, it was a big loss for that second line, especially. And he said tonight is kind of what he wants to see from you. What do you think of that?
Yeah. You know, I love working with those guys. You know, we're such a fast line, and you know that's just how I want to play. You know, is being a little guy out there. It's nice being able to, you know, rely on guys getting there and being quick and everything. So we've been playing really well together.
All right, first game back for Aston. How did that feel today?
Oh, it was great. I feel like I didn't leave. You know, just right back at it.
How long did it take you to get into game, not shape, but like get back into the speed of the game there?
I don't know. I got cleared with the doctor on last Friday, and then I'm playing right now. So I definitely did some biking before I got cleared with the doctor, but I've just been pushing it and trying to feel as best as I can. And tonight I just came out and I loved it.
Brad, maybe eased you in a bit. Just started you on the fourth line, but kind of got 2 more minutes as the game went on. How did it feel up there?
Yeah, no, good. I definitely tried to be a little physical, just to, you know, see how it felt with my face and everything. And no, it turned out really good, and I actually had a pretty big hit, which I was happy about because I don't do that very often. So.
Maybe a little bit of feeling out process in that first period. Teams that you haven't played this year, but kind of opened up in the second. What do you think of that?
No, yeah, it's always special playing a team like Kamloops. You know, play them once a year, so you know, different style, different play. I'm just glad we can come out with the win.
What do you guys need to do next week? Back on the road. You've been a bit of a struggle this year, but what can you carry from these games on the road?
I don't know, just excitement to play. I think that's a big thing. Is, you know, we just need to be excited to play and look, you know, at the positives, not the negatives. And I think we'll come out with 3 wins on the road trip, which is exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So Saturday night, Kelowna, and you kind of look at their game notes, and you kind of look at the records, the goals for, goals against. Like, these are almost even teams.
Very comparable. Very comparable. Except Kelowna's got the top line.
Yeah, they are top heavy. Their top line rivals just about anybody's top line in the league.
Probably, yeah, I would say pretty close to any team.
Yeah, like you look at Crystal, Stutz, and Iginla. Like, these guys are, they're top notch players. They're scoring like they were in on, you know, three of the goals. Yeah. 3 out of 6, so 5.
Half their offense.
Yeah.
Well, over half their offense, 60% of the offense, I guess.
But yeah, like we said, you know, a couple chasing the game and a couple rough goals given up, unfortunately.
Well, Brad said in his post-game thoughts it was 5 on 16.
At one point, yeah, that's not a good.
That's what he said. It is his when you asked him about I think it was you. Yeah, you asked because you were the only one there. And
Daryl was there. Daryl Davis was there as well.
Oh, he was there for that one. That's right.
Yeah.
But Brad's like 5 on 16, and he basically stopped about talking about that. It's like,
yeah, I did counter that because I don't know if you hear my question that well. I haven't listened back, but I said, you know, was it just a chance or just a case of missed opportunities? You know, because the Pats had the bulk of the play. Like, you know, they had some good chances. Like, they had 19 shots in the second period. Like, you know, it was just
at times when Kelowna didn't have their top line on the ice, the Pats
were on them, all over them.
The Pats had it like a 5 on 4.
Yeah.
For multiple minutes, and they just couldn't finish. Kick it in, made a couple good saves. He let in a couple weak goals
as well. Yeah.
And the Pats just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, and so I kind of brought that up, and he's like, no, it was more of a case of 5 on 16, and then so I didn't. I nor Daryl kind of followed up on that, and it was kind of self-explanatory. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure that QA isn't happy with his performance either. And
well, I'm sure he wasn't.
So, and like we said, it's been a little bit of a tough stretch for him, and even Pine as well.
But for the not so great goals, he made 2 or 3 unbelievable saves. Like, it's just shots that should be goals he saves, and lots of shots that shouldn't be goals.
He's letting in, unfortunately.
Yeah,
sneaking in, right? So.
Yeah.
But Parker Berg, hat trick. A power play, shorthanded, and even strength goal. Like, that's you don't see that often to begin with, and then a D-man hat trick, right?
Yeah,
hasn't been one since, what was it, 17? You said Mahura?
Yeah, Josh Mahura. Yeah.
Yeah. So, But yeah, like you look at Parker Berg, he's second in the team in scoring, goals, points. Like he's 6 points ahead of Valis. Like not even close, right? Like
He had more points in these 2 games than the next the next defenseman on the Pats.
yeah,
Corbin Vaughn has 6. Vaughn has 6 points, and well, he's hurt, but he
Yeah.
has 6 points. So that's the difference between Berg and the rest of the defense, offensive wise.
Well, you look at the rest of the defense has all of 6, 12, 17, 21, 23, 25 points, and he has 32 himself.
Yep.
So, and that's counting Feist, who isn't even here anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a drop off. Unfortunately,
It's a top heavy defense for us. One defenseman.
yeah, top heavy is in the top guy only, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's looked good. Like he's looked good all
He's
season.
unbelievable. He's all over the place, blocking shots, scoring goals.
And he's one of 2 players that are in the plus. Like, you know, that can be a flawed stat, but like when there's 2 players, 2 players that are currently on the team in the plus side of the ledger, it's not. It says something as well, right? Especially being a D-man when he's out there against.
He plays a ton.
And he's always out there. You know, they'll try to get him out there against the other team's best lines, right? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, like it's I don't know, like we kind of said it, like is it a guy who you look to move because you can probably get something good for him? I mean, yes, he is a 20, but there are teams out there that are short of 20, 1 or 2 maybe.
And I'm sure, like if Miller is willing to trade him,
Yeah.
I'm sure there'd be teams that would be willing to pay for him. I know he is 20, like you said, but a 20 that's got 10 goals.
He's an upgrade over just about anybody's 20, especially on defense.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, Miller, you know, last time I heard him publicly say he wants to make the playoffs. You know, trading Berg isn't
ideal.
Isn't ideal, but I mean, you look what happened with Riker Evans. Like, probably should have moved him, and John, I think, wanted more than what was being offered, and he didn't move him. So
yeah,
it is what it is, right?
Got to put it on the scale. It's like,
I know, right?
The pros and cons got to weigh that out. Miller has said he wants to get younger, he wants to get bigger, and 3 20s on D is not
ideal.
Is not ideal for next year.
Yeah, we've mentioned that a few times, right? So
we're gonna harp on that until something happens. It's unfortunate, just how it is.
Right. And you're giving up lots of goals lately. Like, it hasn't been good. It's not all in the goalies too. Like I don't want to rag on the goalies, but I mean, the defense hasn't been. The rest of the defense hasn't looked great either, right? Like,
no, it's not the greatest.
Like that goal that he did, that Hue did let in on the goal line. It was a total mix-up in the defensive zone. Like, it was 5-on-5, and the guy was wide open, and he walked down the line and had a clear shot, and you know, it goes off his stick and then through the 5-hole. Unfortunately, like but the guy was wide open. He walked in and made that play. So, you know, it's unfortunate, right? You see these breakdowns.
Yeah, it seemed like something happened. All like the first part of the season, everything was working, and then all of a sudden,
this last little bit is
the switch flipped, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It almost coincides with the Whitehead injury. Everything kind of went to heck after the Whitehead injury. Is Whitehead that key to the Pats? I think what seems like he is. It seems like these last 3 games, it's that the Pats are, or these last 2 games, the Pats are a little more. They got a little more vim and vigor, a little more zest for the game, but unfortunately, couldn't pull it out against Kelowna.
Yeah, no. I mean, they were 2 teams that were further down the standings that, you know, the Pats should play better against, right? But I don't know. This road trip is really gonna tell you something about this team, right? Like,
especially they've got 2 wins on the road going in.
Yeah. But before we get to that, we'll we'll listen to Brad and Berg from Saturday night here.
Did you feel like it just ran out of time? If you had more time, do you think this would have had a different outcome?
Yeah, I like the way that our players were playing tonight. We never gave up. Even when there were some tough bounces that came our way, we killed off the penalties, we stuck with it, and the bench stayed believing the whole game. I was really proud of the guys. They could have been frustrated, they could have got down, but they didn't, and they stuck with it, and they tried their hearts out to the end.
Are they a different team at home and on the road? We've asked you this a few times.
Yeah, no, we like playing in front of the Brant. I think the Brant gives us lots of energy here. I think it's one of the best places to play in the WHL, but I think there's some line matchups that help us create offense other ways, but tonight, we played well enough to win.
Was it maybe just a case of not capitalizing on a few chances tonight? Like, seemed like you had chances tonight?
Well, I think it was 5 goals on 16 shots.
In that second period, man, was it 19 shots or something?
Yeah, I think we played really well. Like our goalie's been real good. Most of the season, he always gave us lots of chance to win. He's won us a couple of games, but tonight I think that our players they deserve the better fate.
With the outcome you guys wanted tonight, but 3 goals for yourself, how do you explain kind of your just rise here the last few games?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously bounces here and there, and guys standing in front of the net and giving me good screens. So yeah, it's exciting, but yeah, it's tough to not get that one.
Yeah, what was the difference tonight? Just not getting a couple of chances there, finishing on a couple chances there?
Yeah, I think a couple chances we could have finished, but ultimately it was just a few mistakes that we made, and they capitalized on them. So if we can limit those, then it gives us a better chance to win.
Yeah, they have a pretty solid top line. What were you expecting coming into this game?
Yeah, they're very skilled. So we knew that they were going to make different plays and try to be very offensive-minded at lots of different times. So it was just about trying to shut them down, and they got on the score sheet a few more times than we wanted.
Heading to the road, you guys struggled on the road, but what can you take from these games here at home that maybe translate to some wins on the road coming up?
Yeah, it's just our ability to come back in games and ultimately not go away. I think that's big for us, and just sticking to our game as much as everybody says it, but going on the road and just not changing anything and making sure that we pull out a few and change the tides on that.
How key is it not to look towards that Christmas break after the 3-3 this weekend?
Yeah, I know we've had lots of conversations about it. Obviously, guys getting their flights and different stuff, but we've tried to maintain a level of sticking to our game plan and making sure that we're just thinking about being here and pulling out those wins, and then we can think about Christmas break after.
How have you thought the first half of this season has gone for you and the team?
Yeah, it's gone well. Obviously, we've had games that we wish we pulled out, but I think that our team's been very motivated throughout all of this and been able to find a level of perseverance through this, and I think it's going to be good for our second half.
All right, and one thing out of that interview, I even asked Parker Berg, like, how do you kind of keep focused? Going on the road, it's been tough, and you got Christmas break right after, right? Like, guys can mentally check out. I'm not saying they will, but it's in the back of everybody's mind, right? Like,
yeah,
you get some time off. You're going home for Christmas. You're away. Most guys are away from home, right? So
yeah, and the looming trade deadline
and
too,
the trade deadline. Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of stuff happening
here in the next month, right? The trade deadline is in a month. So
yeah, a month from today.
Yep.
That's for the time we're recording. But yeah, this could be the make or break weekend. Like if they don't win, if they go 0-3 this weekend,
oof, yeah.
Does that signal the sell, or if they win 2 of the 3, bounce back, and does that change everything up? Like,
I don't know. You can't. Yeah, you just can't be focused on recency bias, but it's like you can't be like, oh, they win 2 out of 3. Okay, let's buy or anything. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think there'll be any buy. It'll be more of a
maybe
hold pat or sell some.
I think either way, I think you gotta move some guys, right? Like you don't want to be going into next year with all these 19s, right? Because guys are gonna be gone for free, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can get something for a 19 or 2, I think you got to take it, right?
Yeah.
Like whoever brings you back the best return is kind of what you got to roll with, right? Like, sure, you don't want to give up some older production. I mean, some of these 19s aren't maybe producing as much as you'd like, but if you can get something for them, I think you kind of got to make that move, right?
And the whole loyalty thing, it sucks that they would be trading guys.
Yeah,
but
right.
they're not. They had a bunch of 19s and they're not winning. So why not try to get something for these guys? Let them go to a team that might have a chance to make the playoffs, go somewhere.
Yeah, like
bring some kids in, let them get some ice time, get them ready for next year.
Yeah, you look at the Armstrong deal last year, right? You move a 19. It didn't work out in the end, unfortunately. Like you brought in a guy that whatever happened to him happened, right? But
got hurt, and then that was it.
Yeah, and never kind of returned. But I mean, that's kind of what you had to do. I mean, what we seen from Harmacy last year, it didn't mind the guy, right? It didn't look bad.
A short little stint.
Yeah, and it was a younger guy, like you said, trying to get younger. He's going to be a piece that they really could have used this year, right?
Oh yeah.
Instead of having to bring in some older D-men that aren't going to work out in the long run. I don't want to say anything against them, but like bringing in 20s is not the most ideal situation.
No matter what, they're here to the end of the season or whatever, and that's it. Like there's no future with those guys.
No. And I mean, yeah, you picked them up for free, right? You picked up Slaney for free and Haynes for free. So it didn't cost you anything, but maybe does it cost you in the long run with development of these younger guys that aren't getting as much ice time? Or instead of trading for an 18 or something that you can develop for a year or two.
Yeah, with all the older guys on defense and forwards, they're still allowing 5-6 goals, 4, 5, 6 goals. Okay, so they get rid of a couple of the older guys. They bring in some 16s or 17s. They may allow 6 or 7 instead. Like,
yeah, right. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to see this team is going anywhere, but I mean they're kind of stuck at kind of a neutral position here.
Well, this year is not their year, 100%. No, they already know that. It would be nice if they can get on a roll and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees. Like you get to the playoffs, you never know. There's no Winnipeg Ice. There's no like Seattle Thunderbirds or Kamloops Blazers of last year, like kind of teams for out there. So. Well, I guess Portland and Prince George, I guess. Well, maybe.
They're starting. Yeah, I mean, like Saskatoon and Portland and Prince George are starting to move away from the pack a bit, but it's not like Winnipeg was just out of the gates.
Saskatoon is beatable. Winnipeg against the Pats was
not beatable.
The Pats beat them once in their 3 or 4 years there. Like it's yeah. So and that was one of the Bedard games.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we've seen the Pats beat Saskatoon a couple times this year already. So
yeah, so like the Pats can beat these teams. They just need to get everything back together, and then figure it out. They have a month, and well, how long is the Christmas trade moratorium thing?
I don't know how long that is, and then obviously
it's like a week or week and a half. Yeah. So they've only got like 20 some days, but maybe 3 weeks of trades to do.
I mean, I'm sure there's still talks. Just nothing can be announced.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean. But yeah, you got 6 19s, 5 forwards, and a D-man. So 3 are gone next year. 3 are back next year.
Yeah,
for nothing, right? Because you got Rowan, Vallis, Whitehead, Spencer, Barnett, and Brinson, right?
Yeah.
And Brinson's your only D-man older than 17. So is he going? Probably not. But you never know, right?
Unless they can bring in like an 18-year-old D or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's I don't know.
Kind of just trade down a year, right?
Yeah.
Or something, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know the market for a 19. Maybe a depth guy for a contending team, right? Maybe you can get a younger D-man. I don't know, but
yeah, who knows, right?
Because honestly, even a pick in that spot isn't even ideal, right? You'd almost want a body back.
Yeah, well, they've got a few kids signed that they could bring in if necessary or whatever.
But
too, so
I mean, experience-wise, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Because you look at your 17s, Vaughn, Bridgman, Kristonovich, like there isn't a lot of experience there.
Yeah,
Vaughn has a lot, a whole season, right?
Yeah.
But
And he's out for who knows how long yet. Still,
exactly,
so.
right. And then past that, you got Smith, LaPlante. Like those guys, LaPlante hasn't even played yet. Smith's had a game, right?
Yeah.
So those guys, you're looking at maybe full time next year, right? With zero experience this year,
Yeah.
which is kind of what we're talking about. These guys wouldn't mind getting some experience in, right?
For sure. Oh, like
So-
you see a lot of teams in the league bringing in these 16-year-old kids.
Yeah, there's been a couple.
There's like 3 or 4 lately.
Yeah, in
like
the last
within
like
the last 4 days.
yeah, signed full time. Right, these guys are coming in at 16, and teams are saying, "Hey, let's bring this guy in, and he's with us for the rest of the year," right?
Yeah. So, like honestly, I don't know what Al Miller's gonna do, but it would be like honestly, like I've been a Pats fan for a very long time, and I've seen ups and downs, and I would love to see him do something to get younger. Just say enough is enough. We're gonna go young. Boo me all you want or whatever, but we're gonna go young. We're gonna reshape this team and build it basically from temple up kind of thing,
Yeah,
right? Because
right, yeah.
building not for this year, probably not for next year,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but for 2 years down the road kind of thing.
Almost like what Paddock did when he first came in, right? Like they did a good job. They had some assets. They moved and kind of started over.
But he had a few more assets than Miller's
Yeah.
got right now, which is which is true. It's the truth. Like
it is, yeah.
You can't deny that.
No, like they were a good team, right? Like
yeah,
the Pats were a good team that year, and
when
they
he did
decided
trade,
to sell.
And he did trade a bunch of guys. He still had a few decent kids left.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think there was maybe more in the cupboards then than there is now. So.
On the team, yeah, but
yeah,
prospect wise, not really. So it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, well, enough with that. I think Riker Evans made his NHL debut this week.
Yeah, and I'm actually watching the Kraken game right now. They're losing 2-0.
Is he playing again?
But he's playing. Yeah,
yeah. I missed the game. I was playing that night too, but looked like he had like 17 minutes of ice time in that first game. So it's not like he kind of just got called up just to get called up. He got called up to play, right?
Yeah, they're down 2-0 to the Wild with like 3 minutes left, and he's out there. So
yeah, okay, cool.
As I'm watching it right now, so this is live for me, which is 2.5 minutes left in the third period for the Kraken Wild game.
I just had the football game. I wasn't even paying attention to what was on for hockey tonight.
I had it on the NHL Network, and all of a sudden this game came on, and there's Riker Evans.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I seen Bedard had another couple assists tonight. One nice pass again, but the Blackhawks lost. But he's still collecting points. Like he's.
They won their previous game 3-1. He didn't get a point. Like what's going on?
And they won back-to-back games for the first time all year. I think it was, and so yeah, it's been through all the hoopla that he's had to deal with, especially lately. He's still just getting it done, which kind of is
on
surprising.
That team. But on that team though, imagine if he had some good guys around him.
Yeah, oh for sure. But I mean, that's what happens when you're first overall pick. You go to a bad team, right? So
imagine if Taylor Hall didn't get hurt. Imagine if the other signing didn't have his issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Imagine if they would have spent some money somewhere else on a non-injury prone guy and a guy that was known for having some other issues prior to this year. So maybe they can bring in a guy or two
for next year
at the deadline, even
at the deadline, yeah.
Some help.
Yeah. But I don't know. What else you got?
Well, the weekend upcoming.
Yeah, I guess we haven't really touched on it specifically. So you get, what is it, Lethbridge?
Lethbridge Friday, Red Deer Saturday, Edmonton Sunday afternoon.
Right, so Red Deer and Lethbridge are right ahead of you. Edmonton's behind you.
And Ewan Huey leaves.
And he's gone, right? He should be probably
gone.
Yeah,
they said he left Sunday. So
yeah, I think all the guys were Sunday because Canada was already having a scrimmage tonight. So
okay,
those guys are gone. I don't think any of those teams are losing anybody from Canada, but I don't know about their import situation. If those teams are losing anybody, but
Briard and Lethbridge that Leo
Right.
Briard.
Right. Yeah. With Hue. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
but yeah,
that means Huey's gone. That means Madam Mulaka's coming in. Mulaka
yeah.
never got
And-
dressed for these last few games he's been here, so
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna
him
have to
and
play.
Pine. Yeah.
He's gonna have to play.
Yeah, so we've seen Lethbridge back in October as a 3-1 final. I don't really remember that game, really, to be honest. But we haven't seen him since. So, like I said, it's kind of a must-win kind of game, right?
All three of them are almost must wins. Yeah,
Because you're not playing a top team. You're not playing somebody that is going to be a tough situation. But it's games you gotta have, or at least be competitive in. Get to overtime, get a point, try to get 2, right? Like
try to keep the distance close.
yeah.
Don't need any extra separation between these teams. They need to try to get closer and not get closer to Edmonton.
Yeah.
The opposite way.
Yeah, right. Like they gotta show up for that Edmonton game. Yeah, it's the last one of the 3-3. It's gonna be the toughest.
Yeah, they're gonna be tired because playing no matter what when Red Deer is good or not so good like they are this year, they're underachieving. They'll pound you into the boards. They'll make you played a game.
And Lethbridge is kind of the same way as those guys on defense, right? Like those
Yeah,
guys are physical.
They're crashing bangers on D.
Right? So it's going to be 2 physical, tough games that way. And then you go into Edmonton, the most, I don't want to say winnable game, but the one you got to really have.
The most
Important.
the most injured team in the league.
Yeah, right? And
They have like 8 guys that are injured long term, something like that. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were injured the last 2 times the Pats played them, and
They still beat them. Still beat the Pats.
yeah. So
Nothing's a given, right? So
no, especially this year. It's so like we've said, the Pats beat the Blades. They've played well against most teams most times. It's just there's a few games where
yeah,
things kind of went against them a little bit, and then it just kind of snowballed. It just rolled down the hill and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was toast.
yeah. Wow. Who do you got scoring this weekend? Who's
Oh,
your
geez.
picks?
We got 3 games. I'm going to pick...
Just pick 2 guys.
I'm going to pick Temple. He's going to get off the schneid here one of these games. I'm not going to pick which game. And I'm going to pick... I will pick Wilson again. He's going to get on the board one of these games.
Okay. I'm going with Whitehead and Shantz. He's getting some top line minutes there. Hasn't quite worked out. I mean, like we said, Vallis is starting to come along. They've kind of kept the lines the same a bit the last couple games, which is kind of nice to see. Yeah, so I'll go with Whitehead back.
And I'm going to pick Berg to get an average 2 points a game for these next 3 games.
He's going to get 6 points in these 3 games.
He's going to get 6 points in these 3 games.
All right. Yeah,
I'm not going to predict
bonus.
goals or assists,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm going to say he's going to get at least 2 points a game.
Bonus pick here from Kevin.
Bonus
So,
pick.
I mean, you want 1 for 2.
Mark it down. Write it in Sharpie. I don't care.
All right, you went 1 for 2 this weekend. I went 2 for 2, so we'll go with
Yeah.
that.
I was
kinda-
close. Wilson played really well. He just couldn't.
Yeah, he
quite
did.
get it. So.
Spencer, you could see his little extra motivation against Kamloops, and Brad mentioned that in the interview. He's like, "Oh, I wish every game was against Kamloops for him, right?" So,
Yeah.
so
He played pretty well against Kelowna too. Just
Yeah, no, for sure he did. And like we said, we've talked about Wilson. Watching the games, Wilson's looked good. Like I've really liked his game so far.
yeah.
Just hasn't obviously put a ton of points on the board, but I don't think you expect him to put a ton of points on the board at this point in his career. But
Not a ton of players are putting a ton of points on the board though. So
no, right? So if you can chip in here and there,
if
nice to
he's
see.
yeah, just once he gets going, it's a goal. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll mark those down, Sharpie, and yeah. So, anything else, Kev?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't know what next week's show is going to be like. I don't know if we're going to have 2 shows, maybe a longer one. We're gonna hope to have a guest kind of wrap up the whole first half. I don't know if we're gonna do the 3-and-3 separately or just throw it in there, or just do kind of the whole first half as a whole episode. But we'll have something for you next week, maybe a little later than normal Sunday night. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But we'll definitely be having something. So yeah, with that, that's all you got, Kevin. Say sayonara.
Have a good one.
Herauf walks in, backhander, score!